Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Comic Book Cove. I'm Tom Morris.
And I'm Josh Holderbaum.
Josh, last week we started to talk about Justice League Suicide Squad. Kind of a nice mishmash, but let's add something more to the mix, like Power Rangers and Titans.
Yeah. Justice League versus Power Rangers, a crossover I don't think anybody really would have expected to happen.
No, I sure didn't. So welcome to episode 26 of Comic Book Cove, the Titans League Squad of Rangers. And I'd also like to make a welcome to Area 58 in Massachusetts with the great Ricky and his minions. They've picked us up, and we're going to be airing out all the way out in Massachusetts.
Yep, taking over network television one little station at a time.
One public access at a time. So let me just say that out there in Massachusetts, the towns of Carver, Halifax, and Plimpton, Massachusetts. So all of you out there, thanks for watching. If you have any feedback or anything that you want to see, drop us a line at our Facebook and our YouTube sites, Delve Into the Void. We do have 6 issues that we're going to talk about that we decided to pick out this week. So, no time like the present, the start of all this team madness. This episode of Comic Book Cove, we're going to discuss the following titles. Titans number 7, Detective Comics number 948, Justice League Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 1, Justice League of America Vixen Rebirth number 1, Justice League vs. Suicide Squad number 4, and Suicide Squad number 9. And as always, spoilers ahead. Titans number 7, Home Sweet Home. We just finished up the story arc with Abracadabra and Titans up to number 6. At the end of number 6, we kind of get an idea that there's something more connected to Abracadabra, as when Lilith scans his mind, she hears the word Manhattan. Mm-hmm. So, not knowing how to take it, the Titans decide, let's move to Manhattan.
Yeah.
Titans take Manhattan.
Most innocent move you could possibly make in the DC universe.
Right.
Yeah.
Manhattan. What else is going to mean? Well, let's go there. We'll talk about that in a little bit later. But on the cover, Wally West and Superman, and one of those epic Flash versus Superman race covers. You can't get enough of that.
Yeah. And it was, I think it was only a matter of time that pre-Flashpoint Wally would run into pre-Flashpoint Superman.
Yes.
Too, because they're the two kind of sole non-New 52 entities in this New 52 universe that's now DC Rebirth.
Yes.
And they have that kind of interesting connection that Superman remembers Wally.
Yes.
Wally didn't have to touch him to remember that he was there. And it's kind of cool because Wally makes a reference to time's been edited. Mm-hmm. And Superman says, well, I don't know about that, but I know some screwy stuff's going on, and we should stay in touch and compare notes. And so it that really ties into what's going to be happening with the DC Rebirth plot line.
Yeah, definitely, because Superman, he doesn't really know that time's been edited. For all he knows, he has went to a Earth that got reset. Mm-hmm. But it got reset by someone's interference, being Dr. Manhattan. Mm-hmm. And so Wally West kind of knows something's going on. Superman doesn't really think that much is going on. He knows something's up, but he doesn't know quite what. Like you said, it would be neat to see them compare notes. And it's also nice to have another connection for Wally West to talk to someone that remembers how it was. Mm-hmm. Yep. I like that.
And it's another outsider, too. This Superman's still just getting adjusted to this Earth. Yeah. He's not, a lot of people know that he's not that Superman, the one who died before. So he kind of gives Wally that camaraderie that, hey, you're not totally alone. There are others trying to find their place in this Earth, too.
Did you enjoy the interaction really quick with Arsenal Roy Harper and Donna Troy, Wonder Girl? That was awesome.
Yeah. Donna discovers her new power is to mute Roy Harper at will.
Yep.
Yeah.
The little scene, I think they're going to go on to it a little bit later when Roy was saying, well, why don't you check your mother, your adopted mother, and see what she knew, because I seriously doubt that the Amazons just dropped you off in a whatever he called it with some little Amazonian facts.
Yeah.
I thought that was
the
pretty good.
the whelping box or whatever it was. Yeah. I did kind of have to roll my eyes that Donna Troy's. Sounds like she's gonna get another new origin again.
Mm-hmm.
Her origin's been rewritten. I don't know how many times. I mean, first she was an Amazon, then she's a human who, was in a plane crash on Themyscira. Then she's the daughter of Rhea, which is actually Lilith Clay's origin, who is also on the Titans. And now, who knows? But why not? As long as you pick one and stick to it.
We'll see. And especially about we'll see, how many hoops, how much paperwork do the Titans have to go through to get their little Titans base out in Manhattan? More paperwork. Wow.
Yeah. Between all the stuff that is in New York should be the most well-protected city on the planet.
Yes.
I mean, how many Marvel superheroes are there? The Ghostbusters are there. The Ninja Turtles are there. I mean, why even bother ever attacking New York City?
Probably because it's the most fun. That's where because no one's going to go attack out of the way. It doesn't.
Yeah, nobody ever attacks Smallville.
No, no, that's very
unless
true.
they know Superman's true identity, and then they go after.
Yeah, then
Smallville.
they go.
Yeah.
Meta Solutions doesn't seem to be doing the up and up. Something about their head. When Bumblebee and her friend went there, who is that guy? Simon, yeah.
Yeah, he's classic Titans villain. He led the Fearsome Five or Fatal Five. I always get those. When one's a Titans villains, the other's a Legion villains with the Emerald Empress.
Okay.
I always get those mixed up because they're really similar sounding. But yeah, it looks like he's the leader of that. The big red guy who the Titans take down in the beginning of this issue is pretty open about the fact that he got his powers from them and blabs about that for most of the fight. And and at the same time, here's Bumblebee and Mal Durham, who are both former Titans, are going there to get their powers. So we'll see what happens with them. I mean, it makes me wonder, are they going to be played against the Titans at some point? Who knows?
This issue was really kind of like a jumping on point again. We just got through the first story arc where the Titans really start bonding together, and you see them working together as a team. I think this was kind of a jumping back on, not a jumping back on point, but this was another story which like, okay, let's take a deep breath, and then we'll start to ramp it up again. And I feel that's what this issue was. It was a nice issue. The Superman interaction was great, and seeing Arsenal and Wonder Girl's, Donna Troy's interaction was funny. Also, the villain of I have meta powers now, and they still took him down. And Nightwing as well, talking about, hey, you got to watch. You can't just drop a giant in the middle of Manhattan. Well, we crushed some cars, and all the way around it. It just felt like a getting back to basic, and then we're going to ramp you back up again, like the roller coaster. We hit that peak with Abracadabra. Boom. Okay, nice little low. We're in Manhattan. And then we're going to go back up again. We're going to have another peak and valley.
It gives you all the fun that is Titans, and you're waiting for that action to happen. I mean, like when they show their invisible jet thing, and they have a remote to control it, and they say, "How do you work this again?" Like, well, hit menu and go down to disable stealth mode. Like that. That's great. That it has a remote. Yeah.
I do look forward to the seeing more Titans in the future. And hopefully we continue to get different little aspects of everyone's individual personality in Titans and continuing in the future. Batwoman number 948, but it's called Detective Comics number 948, but this was a Batwoman-centric issue. I liked it.
Yeah. We get to see a few flashbacks of when Batwoman's first kind of trying her hand at superheroics, and her dad's essentially leading her through how to track Batman. And she spots him, and of course he takes off. And he sees her from, what was that, like miles away, rooftops away.
Half mile away.
Yeah, and Jacob Sheehan says, "Oh, that's impossible. He can't see you." But
no, he went like this. He went. I think he threw some smoke bomb. Boom, he's gone.
Yeah.
And she was looking at the negative that I've lost track of him 5 times, and she said, "Not anyone can track Batman." I like that. I like that. The interaction between her father, knowing now what we know about him, but I like how he was saying Batwoman has to be different than Batman, and how is he going to be different? she said, honestly, I don't know, but we'll find out together. I liked that because it showed that she knew that she could stand for something and be equal and different to what Batman stood for and still be a solid partner.
Yep, and we've already kind of seen that in Batwoman as Detective Comics has gone on, especially with how she interacts with the team, of Clayface and Spoiler and Orphan in terms of compared to how Batman interacts with them.
Yes.
And he keeps them on really short leashes. Batwoman gives them time to sort of coalesce and become a team.
Yep.
And it makes me wonder, is that going to be kind of the difference, or is this story arc, which is Batwoman-centric, is that going to solidify another difference between them?
I think it will solidify another difference because we did do like I said, what did we do? A flash forward, time jump, and we went past the end of the Monster Men, and we went through Detective, like the Victim Syndicate, where Spoiler has went out on her own, and she is no longer officially part of the team, but she's going to kind of try to keep the team honest. Batman's going to kind of give her distance, and Batwoman, I think, is going to eventually bring her back in. But Batwoman, I think, all around is a great asset for Batman and is a great team leader, and she has earned the respect of the teammates. Whew. When I say whew, that Monster Men story was just something else, but at least they acknowledge that, hey, there's not everything's all tidied up yet.
Yeah, there are some giant corpses laying around in Gotham City.
Now called Monster Town.
Nice to see. Yeah.
Monster Town.
Yeah, which is kind of nice to see that continuity of, hey, you just killed a giant monster. It's going to be decomposing. And as it's doing that, seagulls are eating little bits. They're turning into Monster Men, which I found to be much scarier than the actual Monster Men.
Yeah,
those were terrifying.
Yeah, those were weird.
Those are like nightmare-inducing. So do not read this right before I go to bed like I did the other night. But and it's Argus was supposed to get these out of town. They were supposed to dispose of the body. They can't do that just yet because it's a little too hostile. And Dr. Victoria October, whose name is really kind of hard for me to say for some reason, thinks bioweapons like those are going to be that's the next wave in terrorism. It's not atom bombs and blowing yourself up anymore. It's potentially turning yourself into a giant monster and destroying even more. And it's worth noting the colony just stole a few of those canisters.
Stole three canisters, and as soon as Batman and Batwoman saw that, Batman was saying, you got to call whoever you need to call and let them know the colony is back. Batman doesn't really care for the colony. Batwoman doesn't. They've got Colonel Kane locked up in the the Bell Tower, the Belfry. We're not done with that story arc, which is good. And then we see what they called Colony Prime, who seems to be the top soldier within there in terms of if they want people to be broken out, they need people, they go to this guy. And Colonel Kane wasn't too happy when he was into the Belfry saying, I'm going to get you out. Colonel Kane was, you're disobeying an order, or who did you talk to?
There's no way you were authorized to get me out of here, which makes it sound like, there are other higher ups at the colony, and maybe there might be some dissension too. I mean, if Colonel Kane isn't really happy to see this Colony Prime Simon, they said his real name is. So, and of course he gives the same spiel the other colony guys said. It said, I've studied every one of your movements. I know how to neutralize everything. I guess we'll see how well that holds up.
Yeah, but he did neutralize the computer in the defense computer. Now it's targeting Batman and Batwoman. Yeah. So they've got the tech, and it is nice to see that a group like the Colony is not going away. What do you think we're going to see in this Batwoman story arc?
It looks like, it's certainly going to involve her, and I think it's definitely going to involve her father, too. This is going to be sort of a part 2 to what we saw with the Colony story arc, too. And I'm really curious to know what the Colony would want to do with the Monster Men formula, too. Because that was, for them to be taking the same direction Hugo Strange took, that's
I wouldn't think that
nuts.
They would do bioterrorism.
Yeah, who
because
knows?
You can't control the monsters. I think it's already been proven. Well, maybe they think they can. Maybe they think they can inject some soldiers and become mutated soldiers. I guess we'll find out. But they got to clean that up before all the bird population and all the animal population just
really, yeah,
scary.
Yeah, come on, guys, put it in the Phantom Zone or something. I don't know.
Build a big
do something with it.
Build a big building around it, and then have a Lex Luthor come and then assimilate it to some type of doomsday. Yeah, let's not do that. And so, a Detective Comic starts a new story arc, Batwoman Year One, finding out more about the relationship between Colonel Kane, Batwoman, and the beginning days of her relationship with Batman. Well, I think it's time for us to take a break. And when we come back, it's going to be Justice League of America, the Vixen Rebirth, and Justice League Mighty Morphin Power Rangers #1. We'll be back in just a moment.